Hi, this is Chemistry at Builds 250. I'm Kev, and we have another instalment here of the Ecto-1 by Eagle Moss and HeroCollector, and this is stage 41 of issue 12. So yes, stage 41, carrying on with a bit of the prep on the upper dashboard by the looks of things, and we're going to be fitting some of the wires, some of the first kind of switches that are going to go on and maybe operate some of the lights and things on the vehicle. So see how they go on. I do know that some people have had some issues with them being labelled wrong or anything like that, so we'll have a look and I'll have a see. Maybe they are labelled incorrectly and don't quite match up with the diagram. I've seen that a few times with this build, to be honest with you. The instructions not matching what you should be doing. So it's a bit frustrating that when you're kind of trying to follow the instructions and make sure that everything's kind of fitted the way that it looks, and you got to kind of interpret it. But part of the build, I guess, and part of it is working out where things go sometimes. But yeah, it'd be nice if the instructions did kind of match what you're supposed to do. And hopefully, I'm catching up now with this build. Only got one more stage after this for this subscribers pack, and then hopefully we're going to be kicking off with the other builds as well as this. So a bit more to kind of get my teeth into, a bit more happening on the channel. But this is stage 41, so let's check the parts off on the inventory and then let's get into the build for stage 41. Okay, so parts laid out here for stage 41. Quite a few actually, and some very small parts. So it looks like lots of good dashboard kind of detailing, and obviously the instrument panel. So we're going to look at that, see how that goes on. Yeah, it's some nice detailed parts that's going to add quite a bit to the interior. But yeah, all there, all checked off, including the screws. Now some of the screws were inside the pack, some were just floating around loose. I do find that occasionally with the part packs you get for this model, sometimes the screws aren't actually in the actual part packs themselves, the moulded plastic. They're just floating around inside the packaging, so be careful on that. Don't lose any screws. Although to be fair, we've got a lot of spares because you always get loads of spares with these models, part builds. But yeah, all there. So let's get into the build then. Probably going to be quite an in-depth one by the looks of things with the little parts, and going to add some detail though. So into the build for stage 41. Okay, so the first part of stage 41 is we're going to be constructing the radio receiver. So we brought over this part, which is the radio receiver display, and then we've got this part here, which is the radio receiver, third top part of the radio receiver. It's just going to be going on kind of in that orientation with those parts pointing downwards. So it doesn't, once again, not saying to use glue, just kind of pushing it in place. Goes in quite solidly, to be honest. We'll have to use glue. First part of that done. And then it's the other slide switch, which is not that part that I just picked up. It's part there, the two slide switches, very difficult to see. Okay, but that's going to be going in on any particular way. Yep, so they need to go face to top. The slide switches themselves facing the top. So I'm just pushing them in. So that's the radio receiver display constructed. It's going to go bringing over the dashboard, the upper dashboard part from stage 40, and just identifying where that's going to be fitted. Now it has got a locating pin, so I'm just going to be going in there and fitted in place with JP screws. Okay, so that's Nice, yeah. Radio receiver fitted to the top part of the dashboard. And now we're fitting the instrument panel. We've got this instrument panel here. So bringing over the mount and making sure you go the right way. It follows the contours, obviously. You're not attaching that at this point, it doesn't get attached to anything. You're then going to attach this from the back of the dashboard onto there, and then attach that with 2 AP screws. So we're trying to get all this lined up. There we go. And that's pretty well lined up. AP screw through that, through the actual itself. That's actually not gone onto anything. I need to redo that. Getting this lined up. For instance, I'm probably making this look a lot harder than it actually is. Okay, I don't know if you can actually see that, but that's kind of what that looks like there. Okay, and obviously connected from the back using the AP screws. Yeah, nice bit of detail. Probably look very nice when it's, because I assume they're for LEDs so that it's going to light up. And now we're going to be fitting the radio. So we've got the dashboard trim part, a bit like that. And then fitting the radio. Okay. Particular way round. So that's going to sound like that, I guess. Yeah, that's the way it kind of looks to me. And that's going to be secured with 2 EP screws. Just making sure I get that the right orientation really with that one. Yeah, how it looks in the picture in the magazine. Okay, nice detail. And then that's going to be fitted to the dashboard itself. So fitting the dashboard trim with the radio that you just fitted onto the actual dashboard itself. And securing that from behind with 2 IP screws. And yeah, that's what that looks like. Okay, so getting to the main part now of this build, and it's fitting these wires and the switches. Just been having a look at the instructions, and yeah, we'll have a talk about it as we go through. But the first one that it's asking me to fit is the main light switch cover. So that's the longer of the two. So you've got obviously the shorter one and the longer one. So it's the long one that's going to be going in first, and that's going into the left of the dashboard. So you've got like this hole in here that this one's going to just kind of fit into. And that's the main light switch. And now it's asking us to fit some of the wires. Now some of the wires are from stage 38. So I've got those wires over, and I've got stage 38 instructions. And the first one it's saying is the main light switch, which is, it's saying it's a grey coloured wire. This one's marked F as well. And it's got these kind of things on it. Now it doesn't show this very well in the instructions, but I'm going to kind of hopefully talk about them a bit later on. But the first thing it's saying is to put this into here. This is obviously the switch. So the switch end, if you like, is going to be going into the switch end is going to be going into that. Now I've put it at that kind of angle as well. So it's with these tongs, or whatever you want to call them, pointing to the right. It kind of doesn't show it very well in the instructions. Just kind of shows the wire going in, and it doesn't really matter. I'm going to put that to the right and I'll show that why hopefully later on. Okay, so the switch just kind of fits into there, and then there's a retainer, which is one of these plastic parts. Which I've got 5 of. Okay, and it's obviously got a little pin, a locating pin, and that's going to be fitted in, and then we're going to secure that in with an EP screw. And I'm going to load up a EP screw to start with. Makes it hopefully a little bit easier. So many things going on here. So those tongs are going to the right hand side of the switch. Just like that. And the retainer itself is going to fit over it. And that's going to kind of fit over in. So if you imagine the switch is in like that, the retainer itself, switch is in like that. The retainer itself is going to fit in just like that. It's going to fit in just like that. Difficult to show on camera. It's going to fit just like that. So, when the switch goes, retainer. Well, that's quite difficult itself. Okay, so that's now holding that in place, and you can hear the switch operating. But you've still got these tongs that kind of sit. I don't know if you can see them. I think that they've got to be bent over the retainer to hold that switch in place a bit better, because at the moment it's quite loose. So I think in the end, if all the switches work out correct, I'm going to bend these tongs over onto the actual retainer to help hold these switches in place. But we'll wait and see. I'll do that at the end if I'm happy with it. Now, next one is this part, which it calls the ignition cover, which is the shorter ones, and that's just going to be pushed into the other side. Find out what switch it says 38C, which is blue and green, kind of this. So the blue and green wire, we'll do the same on this one that we just did on the other one. Now that switch operating again. And once again, they've got those tongs that I'm probably going to bend over if everything looks okay at the end. Okay, now it says the horn switch, 38D, which is green on its own. The horn switch, which is green, it's going to be going in next to this area here. Let's go. Tighten that, load up the screwdriver. Just having a look which way it reckons it goes. Okay, so that's just a switch this time, no cover or anything on it. Okay, if you do it up too tightly, I did that one up really, really tight, this switch won't operate. Back it off half a turn, and it does. Yeah, so don't put it in too tight. Okay, so the next one is 38B, which is a roof light switch. Blue. the blue switch, the blue wire switch, and I need a retainer and an EP screw. Just looking at the way the wires go. Okay, yeah. And the white one, the long one, siren switch. And that looks like it's going in that way. Yeah, with the wires coming out that way. And a retaining screw. Yeah, so that's kind of going to go in that way. Difficult to see as always. Retain it. Okay, just making sure that all of the switches work. All seem to. And the final one is the dashboard lighting. It says to push in, and that's just going to be pushed in. The wire going in that direction. And that goes. So that for me looks okay, and all the wires look the right length, and I've just followed the instructions as it says with the wire colours, and actually the wire colours do match up to what it's saying. Yeah, they've all got different letters on that don't seem to match up to anything at the moment, but I'm going to go with wire colours rather than what these blue and green. You see it says C, whereas the blue and green is actually labelled D, so I'm not going on the labelling at the moment, I'm just going on the wire colours. And I am now, as you can see, I don't know if you can see these tongs that are on here. It doesn't mention them in the instructions, but I am going to bend these over now to help keep it in place with your retainer. I'm not too sure if that's what they're there for. I can't think there's going to be any other connection that's going to go on there. It doesn't even mention it in the instructions. So I am going to bend these over now, and hopefully that'll help retain it onto the actual plastic retainers. So if anybody else got any ideas what these metal tongs are for, then pop it in the comments. I can't think of anything else that these are for. Can't think they're being for any connection. The power is going to come through the lead, you would think. Yeah, it does help them kind of stay in place as well. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. So in the end they look like that. I don't know if you can see them, but they're all kind of bent over rather than being pointing out. I've just bent them over onto the retainers. But yeah, all look nice. Stage 41 with the wires, the first of the wiring done. Okay, so stage 41 done there. Yeah, it was quite fiddly getting those wires and retainers in. Kind of three hands holding the wire in place, the retainer, and putting the screw in. Yeah, I didn't have any problems with identifying the wires though. I know a few people have had difficulties or asked questions about whether the wires are the correct, and I just followed the colours that it mentions. Went back to stage 38, looked at the colours of the wires, and that even identifies whether it's for the horn or for the siren or for the lights. so I use that. I think those letters on the end of the switch are irrelevant at this point. I think those ABCs or whatever on the end of the switches, I've ignored them. Just gone on the colours of the wires and on identifying them from stage 38 instructions, and just followed the instructions there, and it actually made sense to me where they were meant to go. Didn't have any problems whatsoever. The only thing was those kind of metal tongs. I bent them over onto the retainers to help hold the switches in place. Whether or not that'll bite me later on, wait and see, but I can always bend them back. And adding some quite nice detail to the dashboard there with the things that I've got on the top, and obviously the radio and stuff like that. So yeah, looking nice. It's going to add a lot of detail, so it's going to look good. So I've only got one more stage for this subscribers pack. That's stage 42. Be getting that done hopefully in the next few days and getting that uploaded. So it'll be all caught up, waiting, ready for the F40 to kick off again, and for me to get my catch up on my subscribers packs for the Spitfire. So yeah, so if you like the progression of this model or any of the models, hopefully I'm going to be, as I said many times, hopefully they're going to be kicking off quite soon, then please consider subscribing. If you'd like to be notified anytime that a video goes live, then please remember to click the bell. And if you got any comments, if you found that the wires were the wrong way around, etc. in your build, then just pop them in the comments box and I'll get back to them. But hey, thank you very much for watching. Hope to catch you again on the channel soon. Take care and ta-da for now.